maden de Doney de staffran de stokt. Vi quidok da hook och dignelli helig. Vi bor da mula gasolgan tre kaun. Da vi Sheehan gosnir ol she brande. Dero, faldle deedle die dee dero. Maden de Doney de staffran de stokt. Vi quidok da hook och dignelli helig. Vi bor da mula gasolgan tre kaun. Da vi Sheehan gosnir ol she brande. Sun faldal dero, faldal dero. Faldeedle die dee dero. Faldeedle dero, faldeedle dero. Faldeedle die dee dero. She and Colleen, my rookie and Colleen Kjoltak. The four she my August vida olok. Nine Larish na hogan tad a knee hawks the skull hawk. Is he my kid freeze god jorok she or none? Sun faldal dero, faldal dero. Faldeedle die dero. Faldeedle dero, faldeedle dero. Faldeedle die dero. Dahan marawal yaga shuk trick da. Is the hisa shiasagawala skele. Honig banan tiags bakuman on query. Is karshi roy garangali nero. Sun faldal dero. Faldeedle die dero. Faldeedle dero, faldeedle dero. Faldeedle die dero.
Outstanding, Dara. Now, next up, we have Grace Singleton. Now, Grace, tell me this. You're going to dance, I presume?
Yeah.
And tell me, it was in the Cartman this week that you were after qualifying for the World Championships. Is that true?
Well, I would be if I was older, but I'm not old enough.
Oh, you're not old enough, but you would be only for that?
Yeah.
All right. And where are you living, Grace?
Bantir.
In Bantir, right, cool. Fair play to you. And what are you going to dance?
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day. Excellent. Now, where's the Mary? You're going to get the music going. So, a big round of applause for Grace Singleton to do for us a dance. Well done, Grace. Next up. Is she going to do another one? No? No. Right. Next we have a singer from Shanakeel. And his name is David O'Riordan. And what's David going to sing for us?
I'm dancing.
You're going to dance? Oh, you're going to dance. Sorry about that, David. You're going to do a dance. So away with you. So who's doing the music? Siobhan. we have Laura Dunley. So Laura's going to come up here now and tell us what she's going to sing. Big round of applause for Laura. There you go.
I'm going to sing The Story I Tell You Is True, so you can all join in. Come stroll for a while through my memory, and I'll tell you of times long ago, when we walked to school summer and winter, barefoot through the fields we would go. I remember our little thatched cottage, and the half door led into the hall. The crane o'er the fire in the kitchen, and the grandfather clock on the wall. Oh, the stout it was cured with the poker, and pudding they secured the flue. The bacon it hung from the ceiling, sure the story I tell you is true. He went in the trap to Mass Sunday, and Grandad would wear his best hat. The priest would reserve from the altar, and the women in different seats sat. Matchmaking was part of tradition, and the rambling house filled up at night. The tailor would tell the ghost stories, oh, the children would shiver with fright. Oh, the stout it was cured with the poker, and pudding they secured the flue. The bacon it hung from the ceiling, sure the story I tell you is true. I remember the sound of the anvil and the burning horse hooves we would smell when we passed the forge door in the evening with the water we fetched from the well. We spancelled the cows before milking, tied the horse to the wall through the shoe. His collar and hames, his winkers and reins, and the burning horse hooves we would smell. Oh, the stout it was cured with the poker, and pudding they secured the flue. The bacon it hung from the ceiling, sure the story I tell you is true. For miles through the fair in the darkness, with our animals we fetched with delight. Dealing was over, everyone waited around for the fight. Now I hope that in telling this story I haven't detained you too long, for there is so much more I must tell you someday in some other song. Oh, the stout it was cured with the poker, and pudding they secured the flue. The bacon it hung from the ceiling, sure the story I tell you is true.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, representing Kilcorney Choir, we have Thomas Goggin, and Thomas is going to sing.
Paddy Riley, yes.
Paddy, come back, Paddy Riley, is it? Great song, Percy French. Give him a big round of applause.
The Garden of Eden has vanished, they say, but I know the lie of it still. Just turn to the left at the bridge of Fidei, and stop when halfway to Coot Hill. It's there you will find it, I know sure enough, when fortune has come to my call. Oh, the grass, it is green around Ballygymsdove, and the blue sky is over it all. And the tones that are tender, and the tones that are gruff, are whispering over the sea. Come back, Paddy Riley, to Ballygymsdove. Come home, Paddy Riley, to me. My mother once told me that when I was born, the day that I first saw the light, I looked down the street on that very first morn and gave a great crow of delight. Now most newborn babies appear in a huff and start with a sorrowful squall. But I knew I was born in Ballygymsdove, and that's why I smiled on them all. The baby's a man now, he's toil-worn and tough, still whispers, come over the sea. Come back, Paddy Riley, to Ballygymsdove. Come home, Paddy Riley, to me.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to Lacht. Racool. Oh, jeez, there's a fierce thin line between Racht and Lacool. But she immigrated anywhere from Kilmartin a long time ago, and I know this much, she's a mighty woman to make brown bread. So give a big round of applause to Mary Buckley.
I have walked along Broadway, I've been down the Strand, and I've seen the great highways in every land. But of all the big cities, the likes I've not seen, like the road by the river that flows through Raheen. I can see myself now as a colleen of 4, as I climb to look over the creaking half door, for to see the sunshine on the valley so green, and the road by the river that flows through Raheen. I had only one brother, a gay lad and droll. He was killed in an ambush, now God rest his soul. On the spot where he fell, a white cross can be seen, on the road by the river that flows through Raheen. I recall when I started in strange lands to roam, sure 'tis little I thought how I'd miss my old home, miss the old folks, the village, and the valley so green, and the road by the river that flows through Raheen. After that, the returning, expecting to find the familiar old scenes as they lived in my mind, forgetting the years that had passed in between, and the road by the river that flows through Raheen. Rows and rows of new houses are built on the green, and a cinema stands where my cottage had been. Oh, the river is there, but no trace can be seen of the road by the river that flows through Raheen. And so every everything changes, and we change as well. And I'm sure that you too, if the truth you would tell, wander back to some well-beloved spot in your dreams, like the road by the river that flows through Raheen. Wander back to some well-beloved spot in your dreams, like the road by the river that flows through Raheen.
Thanks, Mary. Now we were going to ramble out a bit towards the Gypsy direction. How we're going to ask John Casey to sing a song. He was well able last year, and I doubt if he's after deteriorating. Do you want to come up here? Do you want to sit down? Right.
In my memory, I will always see the town that I have loved so well, where our school played ball by the gas yard wall, and we laughed through the smoke and the smell. Going home in the rain, running up the dark lane, past the jail and down behind the fountain. Those were happy days in so many, many ways, in the town I love so well. In the early morn, the short factory horn brought women from Cregan, the moor and the bog, while the men on the dole played a mother's role, fed the children and then walked the dog. And though times were tough, there was just about enough, and we saw it through without complaining, for deep inside was a burning pride in the town I love so well. There was music there in the dairy air, like a language we all could understand. I remember the day that I earned my first pay, when I played in small pickup bands. There I spent my youth, and to tell you the truth, I was sad to leave it all behind me, for I learned about life, and I found me a wife in the town I love so well. But when I returned, with my eyes half burned, to see how a town could be brought to its knees, with their armored cars and their burned out bars, and the gas that hangs on to every breeze. Now the army's installed by the old gas yard wall, and the damn barbed wire grows higher and higher. With their tanks and their guns, my God, what have they done to the town I love so well? Now the music's gone, but they carry on their spirits been bruised, never broken. They will not forget, for their hearts are set on tomorrow and peace once again. For what's done is done, and what's won is won, and what's lost is lost and gone forever. I can only pray for a bright, brand new day in the town I love so well. Thank you.
Very well done. Tom McKenna, Christy Cronin, and Pat Sullivan. And where are you all living? They're all from Kerry, but this is. What are they going to sing? They're going to sing. Is there any objections to their singing a Kerry song? No? Okay, fair enough.
You say tradition counts for naught when two teams take the field. I fear you are mistaken, lad, but time will make you yield. And when your hair's as grey as mine, and the years have made you old, then you'll invoke the truth I spoke in the kingdoms green and gold. You cannot box or bottle it, or grasp it in your hand, but pride of race and love of place inspires a love of land. Time honour is our birthright, we'll never break the mould, for it's deep within the soul of us who wears the green and gold. Grey lace and mountains soaring high, Mount Brandon's holy hill, the little church at Gatherus, our language living still, our Skellig Rock, stout football stock, that can't be bought or sold. For our county's fame, we'll play the game in the kingdoms green and gold. And when the battle's fiercest stand, our backs are to the wall, we stay alive, we will survive, we stumble but don't fall. For the spirit of our fathers and our stories yet untold will ensure, we will endure in the kingdoms green and gold. We savour Kerry's victories, we salute the gallant foe, and when we lose there's no excuse, we just pack our bags and go. So raise your glass, each lad and lass, to our warriors brave and bold, who each year aspire to the Sam Maguire in the kingdoms green and gold.
In the interest of balance, no, I agree that they should say another one. One more. A pop one.
There's a train that runs to heaven, guided by the Master's hand, and it blows at every crossing as it soars across the land. Though you cannot buy your ticket to ride on that holy train, for your fond and loving Saviour paid your fare with blood and pain. For the engines made of silver, the rails are made of gold, the conductor is an angel, chosen from our Saviour's fold. If you want to ride to heaven, there's one thing that you must do. You must put your trust in Jesus. If you have it, stop for you. When you hear that whistle blowing, There will be no grief nor pain, for your fond and loving Saviour paid your fare with blood and pain. For the engines made of silver, the rails are made of gold, the conductor is an angel, chosen from our Saviour's fold. As the train it leaves the station, on its way to journey's end, and St. Peter will be waiting, saying, "Come in, my lovely friend." And the leaders will be waiting up in heaven's dome, for to welcome home the wanderer to his own eternal home. For the engines made of silver, the rails are made of gold, the conductor is an angel, chosen from our Saviour's fold.
Grace Singleton is going to do another dance for us. Where would you, Grace? Well done, Grace. Excellent. Now, Dara, are you ready for another song? Fair play to you. A big round of applause for Dara. Hello.
Good luck to all here now, barring the cat that sits in the corner there smelling a rat. I wish you philandering girls and behave, and saving your presents I'll chant to a stave. I come from the land where the praties grow big, and the girls nice and handy can swirl magic, and the boys they would charm your hearts for to see, those rare and fine fellows round Tandragee. So here's to the boys who are happy and gay, singing and dancing and tearing away, frolicsome, frisky and free. We're the rollicking boys around Tandragee. Doubt you have heard of Killarney, I'm sure, and Sweeton is shown for a drop of the pure. Dublin's the place for the strawberry beds, and Donnybrook fair for the cracking of heads. So here's to the boys who are happy and gay, singing and dancing and tearing away, frolicsome, frisky and free. We're the rollicking boys round Tandragee. Now the old jaunting car's an elegant jolt, and there is a place that is famed for a holt among the green bushes that grow in Tyrone, and the county for manna, for muscle and bone. But for feasting and dancing and fun at the fair, sure there's no one can match with the rakes of Kildare. Sweet Erin's my country, the gem of the sea, but the gem of old Ireland is Tandragee. So here's to the boys who are happy and gay, singing and dancing and tearing away, frolicsome, frisky and free. We're the rollicking boys around Tandragee. Oh, where is the man, either Christian or Turk, could equal the bold Robert Emmet or Burke? Or where is the lawyer can speak up like Dan? The devil another bad luck to the one. Or where is the singer can sing like Tom Moore, whose melodies charm all dull care from our door? But we'll beat them all yet, lads, and that you will see, for we're rare and fine fellows at Tandragee. So here's to the boys who are happy and gay, singing and dancing and tearing away, frolicsome, frisky and free. We're the rollicking boys from Tandragee.
There's no doubt about it, but the sing songs into the future are safe out with talent like that. Now, next up is David O'Riordan for another dance. Now, David, take to the floor. Shut down as well. Now we're going to have another song from Laura Dunlea to sing My Old Home Far Away.
In dreams once more I wander back across the ocean blue, to dwell again amid the scene that long ago I knew. Once more I roam those green-clad hills with the youngsters free and gay, and to hear the wild birds warble round my old home far away. That little school I see is still where I spent my childhood years. The teacher's voice I seem to hear resounding in my ear. I seem to see each schoolmate there who with me used to play along the road that lies beside my old home far away. 'Twas often by Clough Bridge in my youthful days I strolled to hear the clinking of the car go along the mountain road. The Glura hills beside the stream where nature's beauty lay. Oh, will I ever see it round my old home far away? It was often in my youthful years those hills I roamed with glee. From the groves of Ballyvourney to the plains of Knocknagree. And as my thoughts go back again to that sad and lonely time, sure my heart is with old Ireland and my home far away. Sure my heart is with old Ireland and my home far away.
Very well done, Laura. No, I know there's not anyone out there in the hall. I can see Seamus Curtin, and is Seamus come in here a minute? Next band to sing is Seamus Curtin. Seamus immigrated from Rockchapel years ago. There was no work in Rockchapel at the time, and he landed in Kilcorney. A big round of applause for Seamus Curtin.
Got a minute about it. So I don't know. It's how well to stop now. I know. I told the story there a few weeks ago. There's a few here present that had it like so. I can go for a different story. So we were good at the storytelling back there, of course. Like, don't you know? But funny enough, the story now that I'm going to tell is about Charles Mitchell reading the news and the mouse in the house. And we all know when it was actually a wheeling man I met there a few years ago, sometime last year in the market, and we were in the middle. 45 years ago, 1968, and he didn't like the working, and I was a young fella like, and so anyway, he's a plumber. I want to give him a plug because he's a plumber in the market, Tom DeHarty, and he said to me, remember when television came out first? He said, well, the amazing. He said, the black and white television when the people saw it for the first time. He said, it was amazing, he said, how everybody thought they were seeing their neighbour in it. That there was someone they knew, their next door neighbour. I remember my granduncle's house in Wheeling, Paul Brown. When they got the television there, and Charles Mitchell was reading the main reader, and his son Paddy was there, and an old man came in, and he was seeing the news for the first time on television. Charles Mitchell reading, and he said, he said, you won't believe this. He said, he won't believe this, but in our next door neighbour, he was the dead model of it. He was the dead image of Charles Mitchell. He said, in Peter Brown, he said, reading the news, he said. And one man gets up out of his chair and he said, Jesus, he said, didn't they always know he was after a soft job? But back the road anyway. This man had a better one than me, of course, and he outdone me, Tom DeHarty, and he said there was a couple back the road, and there's a bridge called after him. There's going from the market to Rockchapel. It's called Cusack's Bridge, and there was an old couple that lived there, Connie and Molly, and of course there was a big lot of rovers in. At night, of course, and the main item at the night, of course, was the 9 o'clock news. And there was only the one channel, and you had to hold your breath while that news was on, because we put outside the door. So there was a crowd of rovers, and they were screeching, they call it around here. There was a crowd of rovers, and around, and should the woman of the house couldn't see the bloody fireplace, not to mind anything else with the crowd that was there, I mean. So there was one failure. There was one. She'd one bit of what I call it. She didn't like mice. She didn't like mice. She'd go frantic when she'd see a mouse. And lo and behold, in the middle of the news with Charles Mitchell reading it, when there was you'd hear a pin dropped in the news, didn't the mouse come out of the bag of turf? There's a mouse in the house, she says, and I'm not sleeping in this house tonight, and that mouse is got rid of. So she says to the husband, Connie, she said, get up, she said, get that cat, she said. And one rover said in the fireplace, he said, the cat? You never have a useless cat in here or a useless dog when you want him. So she says, they looked around, cat in there, but the cat must be outside, she said. Get out, she said. Order him straight away, get out and get that cat. So out he goes anyway, and he went into one shed and he couldn't see this cat. And he said, Jesus, he said, I know. He says, that cat is probably now inside in the barn here up on a bench, asleep. And there he goes with his flash lamp into the barn here, and there he was up on the bench, sound to the world in the trance. He had a waistcoat and a shirt. He had a waistcoat on him, and shirt, that's all like at the time, but old fellas wish wear. And he caught the cat. Anyway, and the cat was in a trance. And he came out in the open, and the cat walked up like that. And he said to himself, and he goes to the door, and he opens the door, and the woman said, where is the cat? Whatever about the cat, he said. Look at my arm. And he looks up at the men in the fire, at the fireplace, the rovers. And they didn't know what was after him. Twould have been a lot fucking easier if I took the mouse out to the cat.
Well done, Seamus. Thank you very much, Seamus. Now, next up, we're going to have Paddy Sullivan for a song. Paddy?
Oh, I long to remember those bright days of yore, which greatly with joy I beguiled the pals who requested my old cabin door, and the frails that I had when a child. Oh, I long for to roam round Mount Massey's green grove, and poach by the light of the moon. To the land of my birth there's no equal on earth, to Mount Massey, the flower of Macroom. So friends, come with me, 'tis there you will see the apples and cherries in bloom. Where I first saw delight, friends, you'll I'll invite to Mount Massey, the flower of Macroom. In the grand summer's time, when weather was fine, what fun we'd have by the gate, and the colleens would smile as they passed through the stile in that old ancient town of Macroom. But now I must go for my own Irish home, and cross o'er the wild raging sea, and leave friends behind, both loving and kind, and a colleen that dearly love me. So friends, come with me, 'tis there you will see the apples and cherries in bloom. Where I first saw delight, friends, you'll I'll invite to Mount Massey, the flower of Macroom.
Thanks, Paddy. Now, Catherine, are you ready to sing now? Next up, we'll have Catherine. We call her Catherine Buckley. She thinks she's Catherine Casey, but she's Catherine Buckley to us. Away with you, Catherine.
The whistling gypsy came over the hill, down by the valley so shady. He whistled and he sang till the green woods rang, and he won the heart of a lady. Ha-dee-doo, ha-dee-doo, da-day, ha-dee-doo, ha-dee-day-dee. He whistled and he sang till the green woods rang, and he won the heart of a lady. She left her father's castle gate, she left her fair young lover, she left her servants and her state to follow the gypsy rover. Ha-dee-doo, ha-dee-doo, da-day, ha-dee-doo, ha-dee-day-dee. He whistled and he sang till the green woods rang, and he won the heart of a lady. Her father saddled up his fastest steed, and rade the valley all over. He sought his daughter at great speed, and the whistling gypsy rover. Ha-dee-doo, ha-dee-doo, da-day, ha-dee-doo, ha-dee-day-dee. He whistled and he sang till the green woods rang, and he won the heart of a lady. At last they came to a mansion fine, down by the river Claudy, and there was music and there was wine for the gypsy and his lady. Ha-dee-doo, ha-dee-doo, da-day, ha-dee-doo, ha-dee-day-dee. He whistled and he sang till the green woods rang, and he won the heart of a lady. He is no gypsy, father dear, but lord of this land all over, and I'm going to stay till my dying day with my whistling gypsy rover. Ha-dee-doo, ha-dee-doo, da-day, ha-dee-doo, ha-dee-day-dee. He whistled and he sang till the green woods rang, and he won the heart of a lady. Ha-dee-doo, ha-dee-doo, da-day, ha-dee-doo, ha-dee-day-dee. He whistled and he sang till the green woods rang, and he won the heart of a lady.
Well done. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at the gathering we had last year, we discovered a bit of new talent. We discovered that there was lads that we thought could sing. So I'd like to call on Pat Sheehan from Doney now to sing a song. Come on, Pat.
Fancy brings a thought to me of a flower that's bright and fair. Its grace and beauty both combine to make the thought more rare. Just like a maiden that I knew, who shares my happy lot. Where we parted, when she whispered, "You'll forget me not." She's fragrant and she's charming like the lilies in the pond. Time is passing swiftly by, of her I am so fond. The daisies and primroses are blooming round the spot where we parted, when she whispered, "You'll forget me not." We met, I really don't know where, but still it's just the same. For love grows in a busy street as well as in the lane. I gently clasped her tiny hand, one glance at me she shot. She dropped the flower, I picked it up, 'twas a sweet forget-me-not. She's fragrant and she's charming like the lilies in the pond. Time is passing swiftly by, of her I am so fond. The daisies and primroses are blooming round the spot where we parted, when she whispered, "You'll forget me not." At last there came a happy time when something that I said, which caused her lips to murmur yes, and shortly we were wed. There is a house down in the lane in a tiny garden spot. There grows a flower I know so well, 'tis the sweet forget-me-not. She's fragrant and she's charming like the lilies in the pond. Time is passing swiftly by, of her I am so fond. The daisies and primroses are blooming round the spot where we parted, when she whispered, "You'll forget me not." Where we parted, when she whispered, "You'll forget me not."
No doubt about it. Better he's getting. And no, Mary, will you sing another song for us? Fair play to you, Mary. Mary Buckley.
At a cottage door one wintry night, as the snow lay on the ground, stood a youthful Irish soldier by, to the mountains he was bound. His mother stood beside him, saying, "You'll win, my boy, don't fear." And with loving arms around his waist, she tied his bandolier. Goodbye, God bless you, mother dear, I hope your heart won't pain. And pray to God you soon will see your soldier boy again. And when I'm out in the firing line, it will be a source of joy to know that you're remembering still your Irish soldier boy. And when the fighting it was o'er, and the flag of truce was raised, the leaders ordered the fire to cease. Old Ireland stood amazed. His comrades came to the cottage door with a note for her pride and joy, and an aching heart cried, "God be good to my Irish soldier boy." Goodbye, God bless you, mother dear, I'm dying a death so grand, from wounds received in action trying to free my native land. But I hope we'll meet in heaven above, in a land beyond the sky, where you'll always be in company with your Irish soldier boy. Where you'll always be in company with your Irish soldier boy.
Thanks, Mary. Now, I suppose it's time for a story, and we might go to Corrag. Johnny Burke, we might have something to say. A round of applause for Johnny.
Right, I'm a small bit hoarse now, so don't take any notice of me. In fact, I got a bad fright last night, actually. I answered my wife's phone and I found out she was on drugs. Before I had time to say hello, the man the other side asked, "Is the dope still there?" This is a true story. This is a true story that happened down, I think it was Killer. A father and mother and their overactive son went into mass, and they went up to the second front seat. As you know, most people stay in the back of the church. Very few people go up to the very front of the church. But they were in the second front seat alone, and there was no one in the seat behind them, and there was no one in the seat in front of them. And after a while, the young lad got a bit impatient, and he started running in and out the seat, and he started running in and out the other one. And he started up around the priest. And if he came anywhere near the mother at all, she went to catch him, to tell him to shut up. But eventually she caught him anyway, and she whispered into his ear. The young fellow stood back about 5 or 6 feet, and he roared out on top of his voice that everyone would hear him. "No, mammy," he said, "I'm not a little bollocks." And that's a true story. Paddy was working late every night, as his wife thought. But instead he was going to a house of ill repute, a strip club. So he was coming up to his 40th birthday anyway, and Mary decided to take him on a night he'd remember. And where did she take him? Only to the strip club. They were going in the door anyway, and there was a lady standing at the door, and she said, "Hello, Paddy, how are you tonight?" So Mary said to him, she said, "You were here before." No, I wasn't. I wasn't here at all before. No, I wasn't. So they went in anyway, and they sat down. And this lady came around asking him to know would I have a drink. Mary said she'd have a white wine. So the lady turned to Paddy anyway. She said, "Paddy, I suppose," she said, "you'll have the usual." So Mary said, "You were here before." I wasn't. He said, they started arguing, fighting anyway, and they ran out the door, and Mary said, "I'm not going home with you at all," she said. So she called a taxi, and she jumped into the taxi. If she did, Paddy jumped in after her. And there they were arguing and fighting. There was a little bit of a lull in the conversation anyway. The taximan turned back anyway, and he said, "I must say, Paddy," he said, "but you got a right bitch tonight anyway." I suppose some of the finest stories are told about children. Paddy came home a little bit early from work one day, and his young son Jack was running around. Jack, he said, "Where's Mammy?" "Oh, Mammy's up in bed." So Paddy went up into the bedroom anyway, and she heard him coming, and she was inside in the bed, and she all going. "What's wrong with you?" I think she said, "I'm after getting a heart attack." "Do you know," says Paddy, he said, "I'll call the doctor." "No," he said, "I'll call the doctor." He said, "No," she said, "I'd say," he said, she said, "'twas from the old white bacon we had last night," he said, "the old white bacon. That's what was the cause for it now," she said, "it's indigestion." So anyway, he rang the doctor. He said he'd take no chance. So he rang the doctor anyway, and he was just putting down the phone when the small lad was after coming up. And he started pulling him at the sleeve. Daddy, he said, "there's a man in the press." So he went over, and when he opened the press, and out walked his best friend, Oh my God, says Paddy, he said. My best friend, he said. How could you do this to me? My wife died and said in bed you were playing hide and seek with the children. There were two young lads and they were always cursing. Just fake this and fake that and fake the other thing. Their father said he didn't know where they got the bad faking language, but however. So the mother said to him, look, she said, I can't deal with them at all. She said, you better deal with them. Well, no, he said, I have no work Saturday. He said, and you stay in bed Saturday morning. He said, and I'll get up and I'll get their breakfast. So they arrived anyway, the two lads arrived, Jackie and Brian arrived down the stairs. So he asked the eldest fellow, Jackie, anyway, what was he for the breakfast? What's the Jackie? He said, I think I'll have a faking egg. So he had him by the ear anyway and gave him a good wiggy and put him outside the door crying. So he went back to Brian anyway and he said, Brian, did you see that? I did, he said. No, Brian, he said, maybe I should see you learned your lesson there. Oh, Daddy, I did, he said. There's one thing for sure, Daddy, he said, I won't have a faking egg anyway. Will we leave it at that, Doney? Where we go from there now? Paddy and Mary and Marge wouldn't go in there with it all, so Mary decided to take Paddy with her to a marriage counsellor. Well, there were no sooner inside the door when Mary began to outline the problem. Paddy, she said, you never loved me. You never hold me. You never put your arm around me. You never kiss me. You never ever show me any kind of affection whatsoever. So the marriage counsellor, seeing this needed some drastic action, went over to Mary, put his two arms around her and gave her a long, passionate, juicy kiss. No, Paddy, he said, did you see that? I did, he said, and what's more, he said, I didn't like it. No, Paddy, said the marriage counsellor, Mary will have to get that every day of the week. Hey, my friend, said Paddy, that's impossible, he said. Because I'll be on the LTV here too, he said, every Tuesday and Friday.
Thanks very much, John. No, I had several requests again for the Kelly Tinners. Really? Tom, do you want to go? Tom, do you want to go before him, Tom, or will we go after him? Huh? Right, Thomas, you'll go first, and the boys will be preparing.
My phone call to heaven is always alright. I make it in the morning and the last thing at night. There's no number to dial, there's no charge for the call. No one listens in, yet God hears it all. As I make my phone call, great peace comes my way. I talk to the Lord, it's the way that I pray. Please join in my phone call to heaven today. Sometimes when I'm busy, I put off a call, but I'm back on the line when I hurt or I fall. I'm begging the Lord at the end of the line to grant me this favor and all will be fine. As I make my phone call, great peace comes my way. I talk to the Lord, it's the way that I pray. Please join in my phone call to heaven today. Please join in my phone call to heaven today.